A movie so shite they made it twice. So after the film's disastrous production was over and filming and editing of the initial theatrical cut was completed, it was screened to a test audience which, according to actress Marianne Hagen, mostly consisted of 14-year-old boys. No wonder Will Walker loves this movie. During a Q&A following the screening, many audience members angrily slammed the ending, which sent the producers into a panic as they believed that this would hurt the movie's profits. The film was then immediately rushed back into production, this time without Donald Pleasance as he had passed away not long before. They were practically trying to shoot the entire movie from scratch all over again. Reshoots took place in Los Angeles in the summer of '95, but because of the production's sudden announcement, many cast members weren't able to return. Most notably, Michael Lerner, who played Michael Myers, who was replaced by George P. Wilbur as the studio executives wanted him to appear less bulky. This resulted in several continuity errors as the last third of the movie features a much slimmer Myers, with much less of a dad bod. However, Wilbur does make a cameo appearance as a doctor who is killed by Michael in the finale. Some of the additional footage incorporated into the climax of the movie was shot at Queen of Angels Hospital in LA. In addition to the reshoots caused by the poor test screening, the film also went through significant editing in post-production, resulting in much faster pacing and a flashier cinematic style that, according to writer Daniel Ferrans, favoured blood and guts over common sense, and ultimately resulted in a more confusing movie, stating that it looked more like an MTV music video than a Halloween film. On top of the edits that took place to the movie itself, Alan Howarth's musical score was greatly altered to make it louder and more explosive as opposed to the subtle minimalist approach he had originally taken. In fact, Quentin Tarantino was even brought in to help rewrite the opening sequence, but he ended up leaving the production when he and Ferrans couldn't agree on how to best handle the scene. Way before I'd ever done anything. It would have been if I had done it. I never got hired. But it would have been my job to figure out who the guy in the boots is. I was like, leave that scene where the man in black shows up, alright, and frees Michael. And so the only thing that I had in my mind, I still hadn't figured out who that dude was like the first 20 minutes would have been the Lee Van Cleef dude and Michael Myers on the highway, on the road, and they stop at coffee shops and shit, and wherever Michael Myers stops, he kills everybody. So they're like leaving a trail of bodies on Route 66. That does sound a lot better, I'm not gonna lie. Because of the initial poor test screening, the film wasn't shown for critics before its general release, and Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers was put out on September the 29th, 1995. The movie not only flopped at the box office, only making $15 million worldwide, less than a quarter of the first movie's gross 17 years earlier, but it was panned by both critics and fans of the franchise alike, and is sometimes even regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. However, many years later, the original cut of the film that was hated by test audiences started to resurface, and would eventually become bootlegged by film collectors, later being referred to as the producer's cut. Unlike many alternate cuts of films which usually only feature a few deleted scenes that were cut for time reinserted into the movie, the alternate cut of Halloween 6 was almost a completely different movie altogether. Changes range from things as small as new musical cues to completely new versions of certain scenes, and as far as I'm aware, this is the only movie in history to have ever received a producer's cut. Screenwriter Daniel Ferrans did admit that although he likes the producer's cut, he did think that there were many ways it could have been improved, especially with the ending and the pacing of the entire third act. It is gothic and creepy, but you kind of lose the intensity of where we've been. I think we could have gone in and given more intensity and more of a scare factor. The producer's cut remained officially unreleased for nearly 20 years until it was finally screened at the New Beverly Cinema in LA on October the 27th, 2013, and was met with an overwhelmingly positive response, which then prompted the studio to give the film a proper release. The producer's cut of Halloween 6 was then put out on DVD and Blu-ray in September 2014, and to this day, most fans of the franchise call it the definitive version of the film. Like that's some accomplishment. So the movie opens up to once again remind us that Danielle Harris isn't in it. Movie sucks.
Is something wrong?
Oh, and Jamie clearly isn't 15 here. Stupid in both versions of the film. Oh, looks like she's just been committed after watching the theatrical version. But ooh, they slow-mo her labor pains to make it much more dramatic in this version. Ah, the man who was supposed to be Michael's dad or brother, but that would have been a good idea, so they scrapped it. Can't have that in their movie. Anyway, he takes the baby away. And the weird thing is, the opening monologue this time is read by Donald Pleasance, who was synonymous for this franchise, but the director cut most of his stuff out of the theatrical version because he found him too boring. Classy.
For years he was locked up, locked away, in Smithgrove Sanatorium. But he escaped.
I'm sorry, but I love that delivery.
But he escaped.
All that build-up just for, and then everyone was incompetent and he got away. Now, I already had a go at Halloween 5 for its ridiculous ending of Michael in the fucking jail cell, but this cut of the movie somehow makes it dumber.
We literally see the Shape, this mysterious satanic being, this unkillable, unstoppable, psychopathic murderer, physically being taken away into a van. What the hell is this? It's Michael Myers!
Come here, Mike. You keep your hands where I can see them. We're having some spaghetti carbonara back at the asylum.
Jamie gets helped up by a doctor before the iconic Halloween theme drops, and this remix isn't too bad yet.
Until she refuses to escape with her. It still makes no sense. Why doesn't she go with her? Oh well, it is shot really nicely. I'll give him that. What even is that run? Mother, you ain't running for your life. That's a brisk jog. That's when the remix kicks in and... yeah, I'm not a fan. He does kill the dumbass nurse who should have escaped when she had the chance, but I'll give him this much. They do have a very nice touch where Michael murders her and pins her corpse up against a wall. It's a cool throwback to the original, even tilting his head as he looks at her. The nighttime scenes are shot really well. One thing I can't fault this movie for in both versions is the cinematography. I hated the editing in the theatrical version because it was shot perfectly fine, but the editing just messed up the whole look of the film. But here it doesn't have the seizure-inducing editing, so it's fine. Then Jamie steals a truck before Michael kills this dude like before.
Instead in this one, he just snaps his neck.
Much like the theatrical version, we then cut to Danny, the generic creepy kid in a horror movie who hears supernatural voices because we've never seen that before! He even has the same name! Anyway, the man in black appears and it all just seems so forced, and this kid is a terrible actor. He is atrocious. If they were aiming to replace Danielle Harris with this little head, they should be ashamed of themselves. Hell, we never even find out who Danny's father is. Maybe it's Michael. You can never tell these days. He's knocking everybody up.
That's what someone would like us to believe.
Like the theatrical version, we still get the weirdo lady on the radio who wants to pork Michael, though it is extended a bit longer. Before we cut to Kara, I will admit, I do quite like her character. But after spending 2 films with Ellie Cornell's Rachel, she just doesn't compare. Why did Phoebe marry me?
Also, can we perform scientific experiments on Paul Rudd, please? How the hell is he not aged in 30 years?
This is basically the same scene as the theatrical version. He calls up the radio and preaches Myers bollocks, but to be fair, Rudd still nails it. He's the best part of the movie.
Again, that's not saying much.
But despite being retired, Dr. Wynn, you know, that guy in one scene in the original? Yeah, him! Asks him to come out of retirement for one more case to fulfill another cliche!
But where exactly was Tommy for the last 2 movies? What was he doing all this time? He couldn't have stepped in sooner?
So Michael finally shows up and... alright, this is quite creepy. And the baby is conveniently really quiet all of a sudden. The thing is, the theatrical cut had absolutely no music here. It was a great way to build the suspense and tension. You could hear a pin drop. But here, they plaster it with music.
Completely ruins the tension and suspense. It's not needed.
I do like how they maintain continuity by still having Michael's hand burned, though. It is quite a nice touch. But why the hell would Jamie even risk leaving her baby behind? What if Michael didn't fall for a bait? What if the little actually made noise like a normal baby? What if Michael found him? So they end up on the set of Friday the 13th Part 3.
But even though I hate the theatrical cut, you know why Jamie's death was actually so good in that?
Let's just pretend it's the same character as Jamie in 4 and 5, even though it isn't. Remember that scene in the last one that everyone hated? Michael spent 11 years on a rampage, and nobody was ever able to stop him. Then Jamie, the only relative other than Laurie who actually attempted to reach him, does so, and it affects him emotionally, to the point that he cries. Weirdly, it shows a sense of closeness in a film where they are telepathically connected.
Which is, yeah, still stupid.
But now we get to this movie. Michael lets Jamie get away and made a mistake. She's out, and once cornered, he has her in the most sympathetic situation imaginable. She's just given birth, she's weak, she's tired. He pushes her onto an electric drill and she reaches out, hoping there's still some compassion left in him. Hoping he remembers the compassion she showed him those years earlier. Hoping he'll have some mercy after how they were emotionally attached. But Michael shoves her further onto the drill. But she's still alive and still wants help. And Michael literally flips the switch to drill the life out of her. It's the only death in this entire franchise to make me cringe, and it was actually fantastically done. But in this version, oh, he just stabs her.
That's it. No, really.
In fact, no, that's not it. Let me elaborate. Michael stabs her, she's in a coma for the rest of the film, and then Dr. Wynn shoots her in the head in the hospital at the end.
Well done. Congratulations for shitting on one of the only good things in the theatrical version. No wonder this shit got remade.
You can't have the baby, Michael.
Well, I can do whatever I want. I made her.
Then we see Biff Tannen, the douchebag dad who we know is gonna die.
It was Jamie Lloyd.
That was 6 years ago.
No, don't give us Dr. Loomis in a Halloween movie. No, he's boring.
Although I will admit that this dialogue is some of his best work.
Michael is alive. I can feel his evil heart beating. I can see him just as I did all those years ago, behind these very same walls, staring, always growing stronger. Please, as my colleague, as my friend, I can't go through this again.
He's still got it, but why are people still doubting Michael coming back? How many times has he returned after death now?
Dawn, I'd like you to get Dr. Loomis anything he needs.
A decent sequel?
It's facing my property. Showed them.
What the hell? How old are you?
I'm our suit. I'll show them who's boss.
Living in this house is enough to drive anyone crazy.
Oh, yeah? Well, who the hell asked you to come back here in the first place?
I am obviously going to die.
Get away from her!
Get acting away from her!
But I must admit, this version does add a lot more to the family subplot. In the theatrical version, it's all left ambiguous, but here...
You don't understand, do you? It's not about Kara, it's about you. I don't care what she's done, she's your daughter.
She's not my daughter anymore.
I am kind of slightly intrigued to see where this is going.
That's what someone would like us to believe.
Even the basic scene of Tommy investigating the bus station, which was silent in the theatrical version, gets music here. Why? This film literally adds music to everything! Oh, but then the baby decides to wake up and let Tommy discover him. I'll take care of you, little buddy. You're gonna become an Avenger.
Good God, what's that?
It's his mark.
That he has never once left before this. But sure, that's his mark.
Michael Myers is my business.
It's been quiet here for 6 years, and that's the way it's gonna stay. And the last thing I need now is you going around spouting off ghost stories.
I suppose it was a ghost that did all this.
Oh, sorry, Loomis is just so boring. Next scene.
Yo, check it out. Tonight's gonna be killer.
But Jesus Christ, they're just walking to college and they have music playing! You don't need music for everything!
Oh, John Carpenter, we love you so much.
He's been having nightmares.
I think it's cool.
I think it's acting.
She is walking to college! Why the music? They are making out! Why are you adding music?
What the hell was the point of that shot?
And turn.
Then Michael Myers turns up. Looking ridiculous.
I'm still confused. How the hell does Tommy recognize the back of Loomis nearly 20 years after last meeting him?
Your brother could never sell it because of what happened here, could he? And you knew. And you didn't tell us, John.
But I will admit that the dialogue and acting here is pretty good.
You knew.
God damn it.
I am a suit.
Happy Halloween, little girl.
Okay, I'm starting to believe the fan theory that he knocked up his own daughter. That's all the confirmation I need.
Hello?
We want the child.
Who is this?
I'm sorry, I'm not taking that voice seriously. It sounds ridiculous.
I am scary. Then Michael shows up along with the awful electronic remix. Before, well, you've seen it all before. And just to make Tommy even more creepy and paedophile-like, now he's kidnapped Danny too. But the thing is, in the theatrical version, Kara walks around the house trying to find him and there's creepy music. But here it's just silent and there's no atmosphere. It's just empty. They have it all backwards. Whenever they need music, they don't add it. Whenever they don't, they do add it.
Danny, go downstairs.
But Tommy's my new friend and he knows all about dinosaurs.
Nah, 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 nah.
You don't really expect us to stay here, do you?
Fine, fuck off and die then.
He has a dad bod! Look at him! Why did they cast Homer Simpson as Michael Myers? This is when we get a montage to reveal that Jamie is still alive, which honestly, I completely forgot about her. And we see several rituals being done to her. I mean, sure, it's creepy, but it's just so stupid.
Alors, cher monsieur.
This is Halloween! I mean, I know that it's satanic and there's rituals that they actually allude to in Halloween 2, but it's not needed. It's a creepy, weird, mysterious serial killer going around killing his family members. Why do you need all of this extra bullshit?
And then, of course, we get the reveal that Michael was the one who impregnated his niece.
Your work is done now, Jamie.
Stop with the voice! It sounds silly! The Scream Killer wouldn't shudder in fear at you.
But in this version, they use stones. Fucking stones.
I mean, couldn't they have used something else? I don't know, a gun, the Ghostbusters pack, a Ouija board, don't ask me. Anything but stones! They also give the same bullshit explanation to Michael always surviving everything and it still makes no sense. Then the old cow gives the same speech. Alright, she is still really creepy and senile.
Michael heard a voice?
It told him to kill his family.
How does she know? Maybe a serial killer just snapped. What happened to crazy? Can't people just be crazy anymore? What about Ted Bundy? He was a normal dude and then randomly started killing people for no reason.
It must be the boogeyman. Here I come, boogeyman.
I'm going to die. The thing is, this is another death that was severely ruined. In the theatrical version, it's brutal. He gets thrown into electricity and his head explodes. That's brilliant. But here, yeah, that's it. It doesn't even look real. It's the most obvious dummy ever. These deaths suck.
What happened to the lights?
We're in a horror movie. We don't have lights.
Where is everyone?
Where is the acting? This dude sucks.
So she reenacts the stabbing and the lightning hits. This is pretty creepy. And they've added some ominous music, which does really work. Well done. But Michael still somehow manages to scale up a tree to hide a body up there.
I am bad, aren't I?
Who talks like this before sex?
Only when you wear crotchless panties and bark like a dog.
Does anybody find a dog arousing? Okay, forget I asked.
So Michael kills him the same way with the awful electronic music playing. Yeah, this still hasn't changed much. It's still
Hold on a second, Danny.
Danny. I am scary. Before the telescope scene, and I mean, it's creepy as she sees Michael across the street behind Beth, but the music is just overkill and ruins all of the suspense. And Michael gets stopped by stones! Stones! It makes sense if you're drunk, stoned, and had a brain transplant. Danny. Act an emotion.
Mommy.
Never mind, you're useless. Should have aborted you. And as scary as Michael following them is, him falling down the stairs will never not be hilarious. But again, Daddy is at the front door, ready for freedom. Why the flying Anakin armpit juice does she step over and bring him further into the house? Just jump over and run to freedom. No wonder his dad walked out on you.
The baby. Where's the baby?
How the hell did you lose it? You were literally in the room with the baby. Someone snuck in and took the very thing that you were there to protect?
There had to be someone else. Who knew?
Nobody knew except me and...
Danny, come to me.
I am scary. I will admit, the twist works a lot better in this version. In the theatrical cut, we hardly even see Win, so when it's revealed that he's the bad guy, you just don't give a shit. But here, we do spend a lot more time with him, so it just works a lot more.
Mrs. Blankenship, oh God, hurry, we have to...
You mean to tell me that the creepy, scary old lady who's been spouting evil, creepy stuff the whole movie is evil and creepy?
And how does Kara survive this leap out the window?
I feel like I've been drugged. We have been drugged. Why are they doing this? Why didn't they just kill us?
You do not need music! Quit having music for the most mundane scenes!
I think Michael is under the influence of an evil rune.
How did he say that with a straight face?
The time has come for you to join us.
Why? No.
Do I need a reason?
So Win admits that he used Loomis to find the baby and... I hate that I do kind of like this speech from him. The thing is, if they combined the two versions of the movie, it would only be mediocre, but at least it won't suck.
Michael?
We've given him the power, the gift of Thorn. I am its deliverer. I follow it. Act as its guardian. I protect Michael. Watch over him.
Is he Michael's dad?
So we finally get the ritual sacrifice scene. Apparently these are all characters from earlier in the film, but I don't remember any of them. And just look, the pure image of Michael Myers standing there looks ridiculous.
Michael, you can make him stop it.
You're gonna try to reason with Michael goddamn Myers.
The baby is yours, isn't it? Isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Look at him standing there like a stud. Yeah, I got laid. Wait till Jason finds out.
And yes, this means that they got rid of the best scene of the theatrical cut.
I mean, I know that this was filmed first, but my point is, this third act was It should have been filmed to begin with. The whole section of Tommy breaking in, facing Michael for the first time since childhood with a great performance, fighting and escaping. Nah, nowhere in here.
I mean, I know that was a new scene that they shot because this one sucked, but fucking hell.
Wait, why did Michael just let them escape with the kid? He just stands there. You're Michael Myers! This entire ending is so rushed. There's like 10 minutes left by the time the baby is kidnapped, so it's all over the place. They had that long to try to wrap everything up in time.
Back up from the gates!
I can't, Loomis. I'm putting down my stones.
You don't have the stones.
Oh, I got the stones. I got a whole bunch of stones.
He doesn't even react to them, or the mention of Sam Hain. This is literally all it takes.
Tommy, where is he? It worked. Power of the runes stopped him.
He seriously said that with a straight face.
Ah, so now he's going to finally stop being a little pussy. So Tommy and the others escape, Loomis stays behind, and we're finally at the ending.
It's all over. It's all over.
No, they've got plenty more movies to make yet.
But no, it's Dr. Wynn in the mask. What the hell is going on? It inspired Halloween 2018. And this is supposed to be Michael, but it's clearly Dr. Wynn. Just looks ridiculous. This movie sucks. Look, the theatrical cut, I consider watchable, but it's hilariously bad. I can enjoy it and have a good laugh at how ridiculous it is and how seriously it tries to take itself. But here, they don't have the few good things that the theatrical version had, and they just have dog shit instead. I get that this was made first and the good parts were then shot later to try to save the production, but it's not an excuse because this bollocks shouldn't have been made past the first stage to pre-production. It's a joke. It is ridiculous. It has some creepy moments, but then it's ruined by awfully placed music and terrible pacing. It has some decent character development I do care for, but then ruined by atrocious deaths. It doesn't have the seizure-inducing editing of the theatrical version, so I suppose that's a plus. But how this is considered the better of the two versions baffles me to no end. The entire third act is awfully paced and more rushed than my marriage, and it's just a bad movie. The theatrical cut was bad, but this is an abomination.